Welcome everybody to the final event in our inaugural Hack Your Practice digital skills building series. My name's Christy Newman. I'm from UNSW. Really, it's been very exciting to have this collaboration between Emma Jane from UNSW and Armin and Alimardani from University of Wollongong, looking at some introduction to digital skills, which are of direct relevance to communicating your research and engaging in different useful ways in research, teaching, and other forms of work in university contexts. We're really excited that we've got HDR students as well as academic and professional staff who've been contributing to this series as well. I would like to just also start by acknowledging the country that I'm on. I'm an unceded Gadigal land here in inner city Sydney today, and as a collaboration across two universities, it'd be great to know which countries you are joining us on today. That's something that you can share in the chat if you're open to doing that. I'd like to pay my respects to the elders past and present of Gadigal country that I'm on today, and also welcome and pay my respects to any Aboriginal people, Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who may be joining us in this workshop today. A couple of things before we start. The workshop is being recorded. These are available on YouTube. They are fantastic resources that Emma and Armin have been producing and making freely available, which is just so fabulous. The other key thing I want to say is, well, a couple of things. If you want to show captions, you can do that in the menu at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And please, we really, really appreciate it if you can complete the very short evaluation form, which is going to be going out to everybody who registered for these workshops on Monday. That information really helps us to know whether this was useful, what parts of it were useful, what sorts of things you might be interested in learning about more in a series like this in future, if we're able to make that happen. I'm going to pass over to Emma and Armin. I think Armin is going to be leading today's session, and you can introduce what we'll be talking about. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. So yeah, this is the last session of this series, and today we're going to talk about some AI stuff in general and some focus on the research aspect of it. I'm just going to quickly share my screen.
And while Armin is doing that, I'm going to apologize for the fact that I will not be turning my camera on today because I'm still in the grip of long COVID and broadcasting from bed again.
All right. Thank you, Emma. And yeah, so Emma, jump in whenever you think I'm missing something if I forget something. So in terms of use of AI in research, we are still in the phase of getting there, because a lot of focus has been on other matters like image generating or text generating. And although part of the research is generating text and writing things, there are so many other aspects of there are so many other things involved in research, like searching for relevant information, literature review, summarizing things, writing abstract, all these kind of things also involved. And the focus hasn't been specifically on research, but there are some startups and there are some platforms already. I'm going to refer to them quickly. I'm not going to discuss them too much because they're not, I don't think many of them are ready yet. But I'm going to tell you what is the direction and where it's going and how I think we should get prepared for that new way of research in the era of AI. So I'm going to start with the project that we have started. I'm going to soon explain how is this relevant. Just moving this around. Yeah. So this is a project Emma and I started in 2022 around March, and we were focusing on partly education, partly research. And back then, because we had GPT-3 and we were wondering why nobody is prototyping educational research tools, while like GPT-3s back then seemed to be one of the most advanced AIs. And instead of waiting for many different reasons, we thought, okay, we're gonna take a step and try to create some prototypes and see how it goes, whether they're reliable. And we're not gonna be dependent on companies that you have to pay a lot of money upfront to see how things work. And we know in the background how things are working out, whether our data is safe, whether things are actually reliable, and we are not faking anything because we are, creating the system. Anyway, I'm going to show you one quick example here, which is kind of educational tool, but in a minute I will get to it and I'll explain why is this relevant. So this is a drug law question. It doesn't matter if we know what's the answer is, what is not. The trick is we already provided the correct answer to the AI, and we raise this question, and we say, assume you're a student, and you write the answer that whether the person is guilty or not. And based on the provided information, the AI tells us whether the answer is correct or not. So I say, for instance, guilty, and it's unfortunately that's incorrect because Amipo is not guilty. I can do hundreds different of tricks, and yet the AI can recognize whether I answered correctly or not, even with incorrect spelling. Everything we have tried, it worked out. It's not 100% reliable, but it's kind of promising that you can raise open-ended questions and still assess students or individuals for other purposes that I'm going to tell you about. One of the other tools that we have is FAQ. We call it FAQ2 for frequently asked questions. And like this is very common that the students ask us lots of questions that we already answered in Moodle, or for many other purposes. You can use this tool. So simply you upload all the information in one place, and then you ask a question: who is the subject coordinator? And I click submit, and it says like this person is subject coordinator. Yeah, this is where you can find them. And now this is the front end. I'm going to show you quickly what's happening at in the back end. So the simplicity of this was one of the things was one of the aim of our project, and at the same time we were so surprised how simple we can make this whole process. So if you want to use this, you can go on this website and draft your own question. So you just need to copy question here and copy your answer here, and if you want to write instruction, and then save, and that's it. That's all done. Same with the FAQ too. All you got to do is just copy the content of whether it's your subject outline or anything else, and just click save, and that's it. That is done. So while these seem to be for educational purposes, you can just imagine for many other purposes you can use this. For instance, when it comes to FAQ2, you may copy 50 different papers and then ask a question about a specific information and where about in those papers you can find that information. And you don't need to write exactly the terms that are used in those papers. You can use even synonyms, and it would work out. So that would be a form of literature review you can imagine. So that's one point I want to get out of this. The other is this whole process of creating these kind of apps. It seems to be they're getting much easier, and there are so many discussions about how gaming industry, they're making things easier for users, for gamers, to create their own games. Which gaming is one of the most difficult coding among other types of coding and apps. And the fact that they're making that easy, and that's the direction it's going, and many other recent developments in the AI world, you can imagine that for our own research, if we have specific needs, we may end up creating our own apps or platforms and whatever we need, because it's natural language, and you can just write things down and it creates things for you, even with a specific design. And this simplicity that I'm showing you in the background suggests that it is actually doable to expect the way the AI and the research are the direction they are going to. But at the same time, it's not that easy to say that, yeah, I want to create an app and I'm just going to write things down. You may need some background in not necessarily coding, but in understanding how these systems work. What is the underlying mechanism? That if something doesn't work properly, then you would know how you're supposed to change things to get to the point that that you want. Now,
I mean, sorry to interrupt. We've got a question in the chat about whether this is ChatGPT-4 and how can we have access to it?
Oh, so yeah, this is currently based on GPT-3. So the model before ChatGPT. ChatGPT is created based on GPT-3. So they kind of use the model that they had, and what they call is fine-tune. That is specializing for a specific purpose. And the purpose for ChatGPT is chat, to have conversation. So yeah, so this is the model before that. And I will get to the GPT-4 soon, because we have early access to GPT-4 thanks to OpenAI, that they gave us the API.
And just to reiterate that the link that Emma has put into the chat is the site which captures the prototypes that you've developed that are available for everybody to look at, and that's what you're taking us through now.
Yeah. So that's the website, and you can do whatever you want for free. And when I say for free, people are like, "Oh, what do you expect? Do you expect us to pay?" I think this ChatGPT has become a bad example, because as far as I know, that's the only free product that OpenAI has released out of like 10 different products that they have. So you got to expect to pay, and we are paying, but because it's not that expensive, we are happy to use our fund to go that way. And yeah, you can simply just see how it works out, and there are explainer videos as well.
Armin, we have another question about whether we need to pay for this, or can UNSW provide the access?
For this, because these are the prototypes and part of our research, you don't need to pay anything. It's just like use as much as you want. Yeah. So one of the purpose Emma and I had to democratizing AI and education and research. So we're trying to make things simpler for educators and researchers to be involved in the process of developing educational and research tools. And that's why we have created the prototypes and provided it to the public for free to be involved in this process and having an understanding of how these systems work. But as I just said, and as we have written a number of times everywhere, that these are only prototypes and they could be buggy, but I think they do that purpose, that you can design things to make it very easy to use AI. And just if you're interested, we are going to test this with students during next year to assess the reliability and in general how students understand use of AI in their education, or how academics understand use of AI for the purpose of research, because we constantly talk about use of AI in education and research without knowing actually how that interaction happens and what people imagine of the system they're using, whether they understand their limitations and how they're supposed to understand the output that the AI is giving us. Anyway, I'm gonna quickly show you one more thing here. No, sorry, I'd like more than one more thing. But yeah, so another thing you have this ACON, which is conversational AI, and you know very well right now how ChatGPT works. So this was a very good idea before ChatGPT, but now it's just like a very common thing. But I'm going to show you one example here. The same question about the drug law. If I write guilty, we have designed it in a way that it doesn't give the answer to student. Oh, let me just clear this and start again. Yeah, so we designed it in a way that it doesn't give the answer to the user. And oh my god, I'm really sorry. That's why I'm getting the answer on the wrong app. Like, why is saying that? Yeah, so yeah, design in a way that doesn't give the answer to the user and break down the answer into pieces. So it would take the user step by step that they would understand why that specific answer is correct. So if I keep chatting with it and say, yeah, I don't know why this person is not guilty, and I say, it says, yeah, it's not guilty of, but can you guess why? And I say, I don't know what's deemed supply amount. And so, yeah, I'll explain. Deep supply is when you carry more than a trafficable amount. Do you know what's trafficable amount for cocaine? And say 100 grams. And again, it would say, yep, nope, is 3 grams, blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of teaching the user like how this works out. And again, it's not necessarily for purpose of education. You can use it in research as well. If you're experimenting something and there are people that you want, there are participants, and you want to see like how they are interacting or how they're understanding a specific product, or how what is their knowledge level of a specific topic. And I will explain further on that matter how you can specifically use a conversational, supposedly a chatbot for research purposes in a minute. We already created something called Darson that you can ask, you can list some questions as your survey questions, and then it interacts with the user and it asks follow-up questions. So not only we assume that more people will participate in a survey that is interactive, because surveys are boring and many of us just skip those emails that ask us to participate in survey, guilty. This type of surveys, we believe not only there would be, there are more likely people would participate in them, also we would get more information out of users if they say something that, yeah, I don't know about this, or would you elaborate, I don't understand the question. So it's more likely we can get richer data. But because this is based on GPT-3 and I want to show you GPT-4, I'm going to just skip this. I'm going to return to this Darson AI in a minute. So one other thing is, again, when it comes to AI, there are many other things that are kind of involved in research, as I said. One of them is transcription, and transcribing the interviews could be very expensive, and depending on how much budget you have. And many of these AI transcribers, or those kind of platforms, they are not that good, and it would take you some good amount of time to check and to fix things. I've used, for instance, Google ones, the most advanced one that they had, and it took me a while to fix all the mistakes that AI had. But OpenAI also have released a transcriber and also translator. So you can you interview in Japanese, let's say, you can translate it to English and transcribe it as well at the same time. And another cool feature about it is that you can prompt it. So if you just upload your file, and there are words like UOW or UNSW, majority of AI systems, they don't understand what it means. So if you just simply say UOW or UNSW, write it them, then it will get them right. And I will show you in a minute. And you can, for instance, ask for punctuation. So if you write something like that in this prompt box, then it would follow this type of punctuation. So it would put the comma down and other things. And also, usually the in these systems, they don't put down the filler words. But if you write a prompt like this, hello there, I'm here to talk about stuff, then it would put down the filler words as well. This is the kind of the very first version of this system. I'm pretty sure they're gonna work on this prompt more and make it more advanced to be used for many different things. But yeah, I just want to quickly show you the accuracy of this, because the first time I tried it, I was so surprised how good it is. So I'll just drag and drop an audio file here, and it takes a couple of seconds for it to transcribe it, and we get the transcription. So this is a format. I put it in this way so I can upload it to my Echo for my lectures. You can get it in many different formats. You can upload also many different formats of audio files. But if you look at this, there is no incorrect word. So you don't know exactly what I say in that presentation. This is my introduction to the subject. But because I know I've listened to it 100 times, I could find only maybe 2 or 3 wrong things in the whole, like maybe 500 words or I don't know, or less. But even if you notice, it gets the names right, and even name of Meepo, which is a name of a gaming character and it's not common, is also written correctly, which it blew my mind because I've never seen any of these AI transcribers manage to get all these names correctly. And the only things that I was saying that, yeah, I got this scholarship from UNSW, this got this that part right. Now, if I simply go and in the prompt, I write UNSW and hit enter, it takes again another 10 seconds to regenerate it. And where are you? Yep, here we go. Now I got it right. And in the prompt, you can also provide context. If you say, what is the presentation about? It makes it more likely to get all those specific terms correct. So it picks up on those terms correctly. And
we've just got a question in the chat about the fact that some of our apps need a password.
Oh, yeah. So some of our apps, because we are still testing them, and yeah, we are not sure how they're going to function, and we are worried how they're going to be kind of abused because it's publicly available. We have left password on them, and this the talk writer. The reason we have password is still that we are working on it. We are understanding like how this prompting work and the problems, the possible problems. For instance, one of the problems is that the maximum size of the file that you can upload is 25 megabytes, and ignore that 200. And we are finding ways to chunk down an audio file that is more than 25 megabytes automatically, so you don't need to bother. You just drag and drop 100 megabyte file, and it chunks it down into 4 different files, and then transcribe everything. And yeah, so that's any place that you see there is a password is because we are still working on it. Same for this GPT-4, which I'm going to show you. You still haven't managed to integrate it properly. It's still at the very basic levels, but I'm going to show you quickly how this GPT-4 work. And this is the back end. So usually when you see the front end like ChatGPT, the interface is very different, but this is the back end, and this is how it looks like in the background. So we have 3 things here, and I believe once they release GPT-4 to public, it would be more like this system. And system explains what is the purpose of this, let's say, app you're creating. And here you put down the instruction. Now, I talked about survey, and that we can use AI for conducting survey. And again, we are still testing it. We can't say it's a great idea, but the initial testing seems to be suggesting that it's doable. So I'm gonna copy this text here that it's a conversation between human named human and an AI named Darson, and Darson chats with humans, and during conversation Darson asks some survey questions related to AI. After each answer, Darson asks a follow-up question to get more information from human. Darson starts asking questions when the human says initiate. So now what we have done is I'm gonna copy the questions, and the questions are in general about AI. The way we design it at this stage is kind of survey that also educates, but you don't need to necessarily do it that way. And so those are the questions. We have provided like 2 or 3 examples, and so AI would better understand how things work out. And this is called few-shot learning. Once you provide a couple of examples, yeah, that is called few-shot learning. And in ChatGPT, we generally don't do this, but for more general purpose AIs like GPT-4, that is created for more general purpose. It's not only for chatting, it's much more. It would be better to provide examples. Now we just provided these examples, and if you write other questions for your survey, it would follow the style of interacting. And in all these examples, what we are trying to do is to tell this AI that if somebody says, no, I don't know about something, don't just jump to the next question. Either explain something or ask further questions. So one more time, I just want to show you the question. So how much do you know about AI? Is there anything about AI that you find scary? What types of things do you think AI will be used for in 10 years? Is there anything about AI you find exciting? And yeah, 2 more questions. Now, I copied all these things here, and I'm going to put a message as the user. I'm going to write initiate to initiate the process. Thanks for participating in our survey. How much do you know about AI? So if I say no, I don't know anything in a survey, that would be the end, and we jump to the next question. Here, we try to ask a follow-up question. Have you ever used any AI-based service? So this question wasn't in the questions that I showed you up there, right? So this is kind of a follow-up question. Say, hey, you actually are using AI. Have you heard of this? Yes, I have. And then it says, yeah, great. Those are public examples of AI assistants. So it's giving the user the idea that, yeah. So we know now from this, if it's our survey, even it's not a good survey because it's kind of directing the participant towards answering the question in a specific way. We are getting further information that the user actually knows about these kind of instances they couldn't remember at the time. And again, I can just ask it to skip this question, or many other things. I can ask for elaboration. So this is one way you may conduct research. You can assume it can be used for many different things. And one of the things I tried, I copied one of my papers, the whole paper, and asked it to write an abstract for it. And after like maybe 2 or 3 tries, I got actually good abstract, which I always end up doing some adjustment, but it was really good. If I didn't have an abstract for my paper, I would be really happy to continue and at least to use that as a starting point. And yeah, one of the other things I use it myself for my research is I copy an argument, a paragraph on argument, and say write like 5 counter arguments for this to see what are the potential counter arguments to prepare myself, or whether I need to explain the matter further to make sure I'm addressing whatever is coming to the mind of the reader and criticizing the idea. Now, in ChatGPT, from what I remember, the maximum number of words you can write is around 3,000 words. And they have also released a version of GPT-4 in the ChatGPT platform, but you have to pay and subscribe to be able to use it. And I'm not sure how many words you can use for that. I think it's something around 5,000 words. the API they have given us gives us up to 6,000 words, 6,500 words. So I can copy 6,500 words here. So it's like a book chapter, and I can ask it to summarize that whole book chapter. And there is another version of it that we don't have access yet, but they're working on it, and it's not being released yet to many people, is the 25,000 words GPT-4. So you can copy it up to 25,000 words text and, you know, ask it for something. And I'm just going to add two more things about understanding the generative AI. First off, in the background, we have these things that you usually don't see. For instance, you see temperature here. In ChatGPT, you don't see temperature. And they have already determined what's the temperature for ChatGPT. So temperature determines the randomness of each word. So in the first session, if you remember, like it was 3 months ago, we said generative AI generates word by word, right? So each word, and then after that, another word. And for each word, I can quickly show it to you so you have a better understanding of what it is. But it would help you to better understand how you can make a generative AI more reliable. Either tell me about space. Okay, I messed up actually. I forgot to do something. Up we go and show probability most likely. And I'm going to reduce this so it gives us a very brief answer. There you go. And I'm really sorry, everyone, because my screen is full of many different windows. I can barely see anything. Okay, now that is, so if you see that the colors are different, right? And that indicates the probability of each word is chosen. So if I click on this stars, it says 95% was the probability that this is the right word to be placed here. But the next probability are galaxies, solar, star, moons. So it always lists a couple of words and it selects one of them randomly. So it's a random selection between these. And if I click on this microwave, supposedly, this is the probability of that it's the right word is 0.67%. So it's less than 1%. So it's not the best word to put in here. But you see that every time it is selecting between these randomly. So this temperature, if I increase this, it makes that randomness more, and it makes it more likely that less probable words to be selected instead of the one that is at the very top. And if I reduce the randomness, it makes the probability less, and it makes it much more likely to select the one that is at the very top. So if you make it 0, you're probably going to get a much more reliable answer than if I put it on 1. So that's one of the things, and it comes with other settings like the top P and frequency penalty, presence penalty, which I don't want to get there. But there are settings in the background that you can increase the reliability. It doesn't mean it's going to be at the point that we're going to all be happy in terms of our research. So yeah, for research purposes, and say, oh, it's reliable enough immediately. I'm just going to get to one more thing here before I show you what's happening in Microsoft Edge. We have a new thing you may have heard of. It's AutoGPT, and it's the new sexy thing happening in the world of AI. So AutoGPT is, to put it in simple words, is a type of AI that uses GPT-4, GPT 3.5 to you give it a goal and it tries to get to that goal. So if you say, I want to write a paper about this, that's the goal, and it breaks down the goal into smaller goals and try to achieve that. So if you ask an AI to write a paper, like a 5,000 words paper about a specific topic, it needs to access the internet. So it would access the internet, it would look into the papers, different websites, it collects the information, summarize them, put the summary together, put them in a document and give it to you. So these are several steps. And in AutoGPT, it is supposedly it can do those things. You can say at the end, put a 10-word summary of the whole research you have done on my Twitter account. And if you give access to it, it would do it. So it would take all those steps and post something for you. So it's kind of the next level AI, but it's, if I'm not wrong, the first time AutoGPT came out was 3 weeks ago, maybe 25 days ago, something like that. So it's very new. It's super crappy. I've tried it. It's horrible, actually. But the idea is so good that it's became super famous because it's like a chain of thought, and it put like the way humans think and we research is step by step, we break things down. It's similar to that. That's why it has become very famous and kind of popular as well. But there are like many people are working on AutoGPT, and even OpenAI, one of the engineers was saying that this is one of the most impressive things they've seen someone in community has created. But as far as I know, like lots of people are working on this all together, and there's so much investment. And someone named JB on Twitter is created GPT research or research GPT, GPT research, which in this example, it asks it to, it gives it like a couple of goals, and it does the goal, do each goal one by one, and then put them together and give you the outcome. And it is asking for to write a podcast script or something like that. And it looks into, I don't know, 15 different websites and a couple of other places and put things all together and give you the outcome. The first version of this is not available to public, but I checked his Twitter account, and he was saying something like, I'm going to release it on Sunday. Is it here? No, it doesn't say. Oh, yeah, I'm releasing next Sunday. So, yeah, we got to wait and see. But it is supposedly one of the early steps of doing research with AI that can access the internet, because ChatGPT or GPT-4, they don't have access to the internet. So we need another application to integrate them and give them access to the internet and do kind of research. And yeah, the way I see it, the way we do, for instance, literature review, going to be very different in the near future. They're going to be crappy early versions, but I'm assuming they're going to be a whole new way of doing research. We just got to wait and see and just follow what is happening in this area. And then I want to jump on to something else quickly. Where is it? So Microsoft Edge, grab this window. Yeah, so if you don't have Microsoft account, not the university account, the Microsoft account itself is a different thing, and it's a free thing. It's a pain to create one because it asks you to prove that you're not a robot in like 5 different ways, and it's extremely annoying. But if you get past that, you have an account, then you can get the Microsoft Edge and access to what is called Bing. And Bing is kind of the equivalent of Google, the engine, but it is for Microsoft. And everything about GPT-4 that we didn't have access to internet and we couldn't use for internet, you can use it with the internet. It comes with 3 different modes: creative, balanced, precise. So that temperature that I talked to you about, this is the temperature. So precise, it means that they have reduced the temperature, so there is less randomness. So it is kind of more accurate. And instead of doing normal research that we say like how like polls are created, and I'm gonna zoom in a second. So nope, I can't. Thank you. A very Microsoft thing, you know. Anyway, so normally when we ask a question like this, what we get is a bunch of links. But here, it goes and look at different websites and it gives us one final answer based on those websites. And it also cites those websites. Now imagine that you do this on Google Scholar, and it gives you the answer by citing different papers. And see, this is the site, supposedly the citation. I'm really sorry, I can't zoom this properly because the window is just crazy. And yeah, and if you can do it in Google Scholar, then you can imagine how would literature review would look for you. And yeah, you can click on whatever is relevant for you. Right now here it gives you websites. It's not 100% accurate, but still something in progress. Another use of it is if I clear this up and I say summarize paper on this web site in 200 words. And it can summarize the information on a website. Now here I have a paper, but it could be any other type of information. So yeah, it goes and summarizes it for you. But again, we can't 100% rely on generative AIs, but I would say they would get to a reliability that we would be happy just to read the summary and see whether it's relevant to what we want, and then whether we want to read it or not. The other thing that I'm not sure how useful it would be, but it's insights. So this is the third thing here. It gives you information about that web page. So if you're looking for a specific thing, it sometimes says that where else it is being discussed, or what is this web page about. So this kind of information sometimes can be useful. It also says the traffic, how many people from which countries have looked at this page, those who have used Bing only. So it's not Google. And like it says, 60% from China. So if it's your paper, you get an understanding that people in China are kind of interested in this topic. And again, I don't know much about the accuracy of these things. I assume like things like this are kind of accurate because they're not using AI. They're using AI just to list all this information, not to generate the information. And I'm just gonna skip all these things. One more thing is, once you create your account, you can get access to free image generator. I don't want to get into it, but it is DALL-E 2 by OpenAI, but Microsoft is giving you access to that for free. And these are the type of images you can create. And the other one final thing, if you go to bing.com, you get, oops, what did I do? If you go to bing.com, this is what you see. You can do the whole search that I was doing about black holes in full screen, and it gives you more space to discuss and look at the suggestions and other matters. So this is what was on the right side, but it's in the middle of the page, and it gives you some examples of different things, different type of prompts. And the image generator, I told you, it's on the top here. If you click on image, it takes you to images, and then on the right side you see image creator. You can create and click on it, and we get you here. And every day you get some tokens to create images very fast, and after that it would be slow. So right now I can generate 100 images very fast, which is more than enough for my work. And I know we are almost out of time. I'm just going to quickly show you the one last thing that we were going to show you, and that is this application called Descript. So we talked about video editing and some other apps, and video. This type of apps, they are like the new generation of video editing, and many other things that it takes us some time to do in video editing. You can do them in Descript easily. So I'm just copying a video I recorded. It's like 10 seconds. It's another bad lecture, just to quickly show you how AI is being used in this application to help us with video editing. First off, as soon as I copy it, it starts transcribing it. So it takes a minute to transcribe it. and it gives you the transcription. And unlike how we normally edit videos, that we look at this timeline at the bottom, in video editing with this script, you look at the words. So I'm not sure if you will be able to hear this if I play this 10 seconds. So welcome to another, lab lecture of Armin. And in this session, could you hear what I was saying? I just want confirmation.
Yep, we can hear it.
Yeah, all right. So a couple of quick things. I just use filler words a lot. There are pauses, long pauses. You can easily get rid of them. Yeah, there is this thing that says like shorten word gaps or remove filler words. So I'm gonna click on this, and it says which filler words you wanna remove. There's a big list of them, and I'm gonna put for all of them, like especially when I say all of those things are also repeated words, and you can add to this list if there are specific words you say constantly. And then for some reason I cannot click on apply. What happened? I probably click on something. Oh yeah, apply to all. So all of them are gone. Welcome to another lab lecture of Armin. And in this session, we are going to talk about stuff. All the filler words are gone. Another thing you can do is shorten word gaps. So because I have long pauses, I can say word gaps, gaps that are more than 0.5 seconds, reduce them to 0.4 seconds. So any gap that is, anytime I pause for more than 0.5 seconds, it will cut it, even if it's 10 seconds, it put 0.4 seconds, so like less than a second gap. So I'm going to apply to it. And this, after this stuff, and I say then, and there was a 3-second gap and it's done. In this section, we're going to talk about. So, and there are other things you can use. And one of them is that if your background is crappy like this, sorry, I say crappy. I mean, like, I didn't even try to put my seat in a way that looks better. So there are effects that like green screen, you can click on it and it removes the background for you. My mistake was that the way I was sitting on the chair, I was just laying back and the chair and my head are just too close to each other. So I'm going to show you quickly what would be the outcome because just 1 second, because I don't want to make you wait until it does all the process. Okay, here we go. So you see the background, my background, it's all black, it's gone. So this is the thing you can do. And then you can add any background that you want. I'm going to add like, I don't know, wave. Okay, let's say we are happy with this. It takes a minute to download it, but I can put it as my background. Now it looks different. Welcome to. So if I didn't sit the way I was sitting and my chair wasn't right behind my head, it would be completely black and that would be the background. And it would be just super easy to get rid of your background and put another thing. So these are all being done by AI. And this is an example of an app that is AI integrated. It is still buggy and it makes bad errors sometimes when it removes, for instance, these filler words. But in general, when I'm editing my lectures, it saves a lot of time for me. At first, it was really time consuming for me to understand those bugs, but now I know how it works out. And of course, they're updating it every day to get rid of those issues. I hope I have explained.
Oh, the other thing that Descript can do is create an overdub voice. So you can record your voice and we have to upload between 30 and 90 minutes of talking, an audio file. And it means that you can type in words, and it will generate your voice for you, so you can do, put your voice over an image or correct things that you didn't say correctly.
Yeah, that's true, and I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that. And the problem is I didn't do this speaker thing. I'm not sure if it's gonna, yeah, it would take a couple of seconds to generate it. I'm not sure if you have enough time, but if I type something right down, and because I already submitted like 20 minutes of my voice, I can select any voice that I want. I'm selecting my own voice, and it would read it as if that is my voice. So if I say something incorrect in my lecture or presentation that I'm sending to a conference or whatever, I can easily move one word and replace it with another to fix my mistake. And yeah. All right, I'm sorry it took much longer than it was supposed to, I guess. Any questions? I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I think that's it. No. Yeah, so for the DS script, so this is something that universities should pay for, I guess. And at UW, like our school has bought an account just as an experiment to see how it goes for us. But yeah, it's I think $250 or something per year, which is a bargain for what it does. And you get also access to all these stock images and videos, so you can put whatever you want, and without paying anything else. And just these stock images and videos, like they are very expensive. And if you know what type of, how do they write it? If you know what type of videos I'm talking about, they're overlay videos that you see usually in TV and other places that they put in. You can get access to all of these things, and also audio, images. So yeah, I think it's a good bargain. And yeah, other links, I think we provide everything for you with when the recorded version of this presentation is emailed to you. And thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Armin. That was great and very relaxing for me, this Hacky Practice session.
Well, I have to say that Emma also helped with this presentation. There are lots of these are her ideas, so I'm just presenting them. It's not all me. Yeah. Okay. If we pay for Chat GPT-4, will be also be free updates if new version comes out. So you will, if you pay, you will get access only to the Chat GPT format. That the way you're using Chat GPT, you can just click and change Chat GPT to GPT-4. But the actual version, when it comes out, it's always going to be something that you have to pay. And I don't think they're ever going to make GPT-4 free, because I think it's much more expensive for them to run it, because it seems it's using bigger database. They didn't provide any information, unlike other engines that they release. So we don't know how big it is, but because the bigger it is, it means the more computing power they need, and it would be more expensive. So I don't think they're going to make it free, but it usually costs something like every 1,000 words, like $0.06, something like that. So if you write 10,000 words with it, you end up with 50 cents, something like that. It's very, very cheap. And these numbers I'm just saying from top of my head, but they are not that expensive. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, about the transcription model, again, we are not sure when we're gonna release it, because we're both busy with lots of other things. These things usually take us a little bit of time to process them, but yeah, we will let you know that whenever it is released. No worries. So I'm not missing any questions, right? Is it transcription mainly focused on? Oh no, it's not only English language. From what I know, it supports up to 100 languages, but English is the top 3. I think Spanish is number 1. So they use 680,000 hours of people talking, and they had the transcription of those talks, so 100% accurate. People with different accents, people, talking too fast, too slow, all form of things, and in other languages. So apparently, from what I remember, Spanish was at the highest. It could be wrong, but this is what I remember, that it was a little bit weird, because usually the data they provide is in English, so it's biased towards English. But yeah. Sure. Okay, no worries. All right, I think we're done. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chrissy, for...
Thank you, everyone. And Christy, thank you so much for organising this series of digital skills workshops. You're on mute.
Yeah, we can't hear you for some reason.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my other microphone didn't want to work. Thank you so much to Emma and to Armin for incredible amount of work in putting this series together, and in making so many things freely available to so many in really critical areas. So really looking forward to hearing how everybody's made use of this. Please complete the surveys if you receive it on Monday, and hopefully we will have some more super interesting things like this to offer in the future. Thanks for Wollongong as well for being open to collaborating on this. It's been really exciting.
Thank you.
Okay, see you guys.